3 years after a nuclear meltdown in Japan, radiation from Fukushima is turning up on the British Columbia coastline. A Canadian-led team intercepted the nuclear plume, but they are clear that it doesn't present a threat to people living on the coast. With more on this, we are joined by John Smith, an oceanographer at Fisheries and Ocean Canada. Good morning, John, and thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. You're very welcome.
All right, maybe you can start by explaining to us what the Fukushima signal is.
Well, about 3 months after the Fukushima accident on the east coast of Japan, which resulted in the meltdown of several nuclear reactors, we started monitoring ocean water on what we call Line P, which is a series of oceanographic stations extending about 1,500 kilometers west of Victoria, British Columbia. So we started sampling the water to see when the Fukushima radioactivity signal would arrive in the East and North Pacific. In 2011, we saw no Fukushima radioactivity. 2012, we began to see a little bit on the far western part of the line. And in 2013, June of 2013, we saw the arrival of the Fukushima radioactivity signal along the entire Line P up onto the continental shelf of British Columbia.
So do you think that that was the height of it, or are we expecting more?
There will be, we expect to see more Fukushima radioactivity arriving on Line P. We expect to see the maximum in this signal in about 2015, 2016. And this is based on ocean circulation models, not our own work. And then thereafter, the signal will start to decline. Now, having said that, I should point out that these radioactivity levels are extremely low and can only really be measured by very sensitive nuclear instrumentation, such as we have in our laboratories. These levels are marginally above radioactivity levels from nuclear weapons fallout and present absolutely no risk to the environment or to human health.
Are you surprised, or did you expect higher radiation levels?
We really weren't sure what to expect because we started our work before we had the benefit of projections from ocean circulation models. So we just started monitoring the signal because we were sure it would arrive at one point. And but the point is that we can now compare our results to projections from ocean circulation models and thereby determine how useful, how accurate, how valid these circulation models are. And this is important scientifically because we rely on these types of ocean circulation models to tell us things about other scientific issues, such as global climate change and so forth.
So how does this radiation, the level of it, compare to maybe other things in our environment?
Well, these radioactivity levels, the amount of radioactivity being delivered to the East and North Pacific from Fukushima will increase levels to about the fallout levels in the ocean that prevailed in the 1980s. And by fallout, I mean radioactivity from atmospheric nuclear weapons tests, which were conducted in the 1950s and 1960s. So we're really just returning the signal to the slightly higher levels that prevailed several decades ago. And in another 5 to 10 years, that signal will decrease to levels present at the present time. As far as there are many other radionuclides in the ocean, and these levels are much lower than levels of radioactivity from other sources, and particularly from natural radioactivity sources.
So, John, as you can imagine, when people in BC hear that there is radiation in the water, it's certainly alarming. What would you say to those people?
I'd say these levels are extremely low. They present no threat to human health. They present no threat to the environment. And I don't think people should be concerned at all about these levels. It's really, from our point of view, it's interesting as a tracer of ocean circulation. It allows us to say something about water circulation, where these tracers go, and this provides us with information about ocean currents and so forth. But from a radiological point of view, from a contaminant point of view, it's really not a particularly important issue.
All right. Well, that is John Smith, an oceanographer at Fisheries and Ocean Canada, joining us via Skype today. John, thanks so much for being with us.
You're very welcome.